Welcome back to Talk Show, the show brave enough to look directly at the news cycle so you don't have to doom scroll at 2:30 in the morning while whispering, "What the hell is happening?" I'm your host, Tino. Today, we've got the usual mix, a splash of chaos, a little bit of comedy, maybe just enough existential dread to keep things interesting. Let's bake this potato. In our first segment, in a fleeting, blissful reverie moment of justice porn, almost as bad as last week when Nicki Minaj got the fake gold immigrant slip. Chef's kiss to that. But even better, this week, Kid Rock's MAGA Fest has been canceled after nearly every act pulled out. Amazing. Nothing says grassroots movement like a music festival where even the opening band is like, ha ha. Nope. Apparently, the lineup was so thin that the headliners were going to be Kid Rock, Kid Rock's cousin, and then a Bluetooth speaker specifically playing that song about hooking up with underage girls. I'll tell you, cancel culture didn't do this one, folks. Basic self-respect did. And speaking of which, I, for one, cannot wait to see what Bad Bunny does at the Super Bowl show. I hope he wears like a dress and murders a giant inflatable mango on stage. Chinga la migra, amigos. In our next segment, this is actually super cool. I thought I'd break from the norm and talk a little bit about good old Mother Nature. She provided us with a real treat, a spectacular rainbow optical phenomenon featuring nothing but good old-fashioned light and water, maybe a little bit of dust mixed in. Let me play this clip for you. There's no music, so I'm going to just supply some music for you. La 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 la. Oh, that's it. Let's watch it again, this time with a little mouth trumpet. Oh. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know. Absolutely magnificent little prismatic effect. Nature, absolutely lit, y'all. Just a reminder that, while we're dealing with the dumpster fire in the White House, Gaia is out here setting a mood. Humanity, everything is chaos. Planet Earth, anyway, here's a rainbow. At this point, I feel like if Earth could talk, she'd probably say, listen, I gave you sunsets, I gave you waterfalls, northern lights, and you guys made Twitter. Okay, all right, we've had some fun. Let's get cooking. Today, I'd like to introduce a new recurring segment where we go over world news in a minute, literally. Because sometimes the planet is on fire and you just need the headlines and you don't need a 3-hour podcast explaining them. Here's what happened around the world, rapid fire style. No filler, no panel, nobody yelling at each other, but here's the news you actually need to know. First of all, large Russian drone and missile attacks on Ukraine were reported on Thursday. Hundreds of drones essentially launched overnight, damaging residential areas and infrastructure. In Pakistan, the Balochistan region, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, saw militant attacks through early February with dozens of civilians, security personnel killed, and it's all ongoing amidst an insurgency. In North Korea, Trump's favorite place, they announced a major ruling party congress for late February where Kim Jong-un is expected to set domestic and foreign policy priorities, which usually translates to new missile, same haircut. A magnitude 5.8 to 6.2 earthquake struck East Java, Indonesia, killing at least one person and injuring dozens of others. And here's a really fun one, actually. I don't know if you like to ski or you like your winter sports, but the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina officially kicked off. Some really cool stuff, but there's already some early competition controversy over equipment rules, proving that once again, nothing brings the world together like arguing over skis. What's your ski quiver look like? Oh, I've got twin tips and some grand slalom racers and... Anyways, we skiers love to argue about gear. So the bottom line, war in the Ukraine continues, security tensions in Pakistan remain high, North Korea is preparing a major political congress, Indonesia recovering from earthquake damage, and Winter Olympics, they're underway. Go Lindsay Oh, she got hurt, and that makes me sad. Hope she's okay. Anyways, light week in the news, apparently. In our next segment, and this is going to be our main story for today, folks, we need to be taking Trump seriously. Unfortunately, he doesn't joke. I don't think he can joke, frankly. I think he doesn't understand humor. Recently, Chris Murphy took to the interwebs, and he has done so quite a bit this year and even last year. He spells it out pretty well. So I'm going to play a clip for you.
Donald Trump can't win the 2026 election, so he's putting in place a plan to steal it. That's not hyperbole. That's not conspiracy. He is literally doing it and telling you he's going to do it.
So I'm going to pause. Here's the point. You got to believe Trump. He's going to go on talk show. He's going to say nonsense. Let's have Chris put the pieces together for us.
The pieces together for you. Just the pieces that have been put down on the table over the course of the past week, week and a half. The president sends a letter to state officials in Minnesota. He says, I'll be glad to take ICE officials out, but you got to give me control of your voter rolls. This is a key swing state. It's going to have an important gubernatorial election and an even more important Senate.
Like I said, I'm not going to watch this whole clip with you, but I think we need to pay attention to this, and you definitely should watch the whole thing on your free time. If you need an honest account of the staggering, mind-boggling level of corruption going on, Chris has quite a few videos on Instagram and many other places explaining this. Is he perfect? No, he's not a flawless politician. They don't exist. But he's one of the few looking down the barrel of MAGA's gun without flinching. And that's after receiving death threats to his family. Here's the key point. Watch what they do. For many of them, don't listen to what they say. But with Trump, he's literally telling you what he's going to do. Especially when you look at Tulsi Gabbard, who's been tasked with 2020 election fraud. Insert the heaviest eye roll in all of history. Even in the Sunshine State, Tulsi manages to look like a drunk emo teen's interpretation of Taylor Swift's Midnights. And since we're on the topic of election fraud malarkey, let's take a look at this little image overlaying ICE raid activity with election results. Yeah, let me put this right in the center of the screen for you. Kind of funny how the random enforcement patterns always seem to land in specific places. So it seems pretty clear that Trump and the team are eyeing that third term with a certain level of vigor that's typically reserved for someone trying to return something that they don't have a receipt for. So when Trump jokes about nationalizing the election, oh, ha, 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 they're not joking. Take him seriously. And if you live in a swing state, you better get your IDs lined up now, right just now, especially if you're a woman with the name change. Because yes, proposals are floating around that could invalidate votes if your name doesn't match across multiple documents. That's not a paperwork problem, that's a participation problem. Now, I've been mad this whole time. I've been big mad, right? Viewers know that. But the latest crap out of the Trump social media, out of the White House account, is the most unacceptable nonsense I have ever seen. The Obamas as monkeys? Are you fucking kidding me? This is another moment, folks. The administration is attempting to normalize racism. Oh no, you can't take it, just lighten up, they say. But here's the fucking thing. The punchline is people losing their rights. That's not a joke, that's a warning. History has a very clear pattern. The scary shit always starts as, just kidding. So yes, the world is chaotic. Yes, politics is messy. And yes, apparently Kid Rock can't keep a band together. Good. But here's the reality. Stay informed. Stay loud. And for the love of God, ladies, check your voter registration before the people who hate democracy start checking it for you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.